You are now watching On Point, a news and public affairs show from California State University, Northridge.
Hello and welcome to On Point. I'm your host, Alondra Canchola. Social media has reinvented what modern fashion is. From ultra baggy clothes to backwards sports jerseys, the state of fashion is ever evolving. However, when taking a further dive into the latest trends lies a deeper conversation about fast fashion, sustainable shopping, and the future of how fashion is consumed. As fast fashion fades, reselling is thriving, turning pre-loved pieces into must-haves, transforming the way consumers spend. Fashion is an incredibly deep topic, but here to help us understand more about it, we are joined by two guests who have different backgrounds within the industry. Our first guest is Kathryn Oz. She's a senior majoring in fashion design and production. Aside from her studies, she serves as the president of CSUN's Trends Fashion Club and is a student assistant for the Sustainable Fashion Program. Our second guest is Jaiden Randolph, creator and owner of the clothing brand Retro Valley, and one of the two ambassadors for the Depop app here at CSUN's campus. Kathryn, Jaiden, thank you guys so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to let you guys know that for the topic of today is going to be fashion, and you both look incredible. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I did want to start us off by talking about the fashion world is so big. How do you occupy that space, and how did that passion really start for you? Jaiden, we're going to start with you.
I would say my mom definitely got me into it early. She was always dressing me and providing me with creativity. Definitely her influence has a lot on me in my fashion.
And I know that you own your own brand, Retro Valley. Could you talk a little bit about that and how you started it?
Yeah, so I actually started in December. I was low-key at a low point in life, and I was like, hey, I need to get these dreams going. Like, I need something to ease my mind off this, and I was just kind of bored and just in my own head, and I was like, hey, I need to start this dream that I've had for a really long time. And I feel like my mom is like one of my biggest supporters, and she definitely helped me. And she actually has like a collab piece out with me right now. So it's a big like focus on like love thing and like family and friends and like togetherness. So that's really cool what happened.
So it's like a passion project for you?
Definitely is, yeah.
Oh, okay, well, that's incredible. Kathryn, how about you?
For me, I would say I was always surrounded by just like the clothing because my grandparents are tailors, so from a young age I would spend my summers with them where I would learn like sewing, like basic sewing, and as a kid I always loved like Build-A-Bears, so I would make like little clothes for my stuffed animals where my grandparents taught me to sew, and not really knowing it then, being so young, that it was going to be a passion for me. But as I got older, I really grew fond of art, and I just like realized how important fashion is, especially like since it's a form of like self-expression, and that's when like I really realized that that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life.
And how did you decide on that being your major?
I decided on fashion because I wanted to kind of put both my passions together of both creating art while also like expressing yourself through like textiles. Like I consider fabrics like my canvas, or like the human body as my canvas, and then from there I love to just like create new ideas from like a simple design idea until like the finished product. It's just like I think it's just like so beautiful in itself because you basically get to create something beautiful out of like nothing.
Yeah, that's incredible. I feel like you guys both resonate on creating something out of passion and love, and seeing it produce is probably really fulfilling. I'm sure being in this industry, you have seen how fashion trends have evolved over the last couple decades, I want to say. What, in your opinion, has been the biggest change from today's fashion to, let's say, about 20 years ago?
I feel like now there's so much fast fashion. Everyone wants things that are such like cheaper, but we also have a lot of like immersive technology, artificial intelligence. So like newly we have like the metaverse in the fashion industry, so like more like virtual reality and like easier, convenient ways of shopping. But especially with fast fashion, I think it's kind of like changed the way that people view articles of clothing. Like people look for more trendy pieces that they could wear like every single, like a different outfit every single day. Whereas in the past, like 20 years ago, people would only buy like maybe like 12 garments per year, but now it's like grown tremendously. So right now we have like enough clothing to basically clothe like the next 6 generations, which is crazy.
Yeah, both of you being people that make your own clothes, what's your opinions on fast fashion? How do you feel like that disrupts the world that you're trying to cultivate with your passion?
I would feel fast fashion kind of reduces creativity of some of our creators. I feel like some brands like just want to put out like cheap clothing, and I feel like there's a lot of other creators who have like good visions for their clothing and put a lot of more heart and like soul into what they're putting out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I feel like in the last couple of years, while fast fashion has been like so accessible for people, even the shopping experience for a lot of people has been changing. I know a lot of physical stores, like these big brand name stores like Forever 21, Macy's, Joann's, we're seeing them close out hundreds of stores just because the consumption is more or less turned online. How do you feel like that relationship has changed where you can physically feel the product versus ordering it and kind of just sticking with it?
I think as a fashion major, it's very critical for me to actually be physically there in the store environment to feel the fabric and also to kind of like drape it around my body to see whether it would be like see-through or not. Also like being able to try on the clothing, because just because it might be my size, it doesn't mean that it's going to have the proper fit on me. So it's just, especially now with more online stores opening, it's kind of harder to go in person sometimes because there's a lot more clothing options online than in person.
Yeah, I feel like there is definitely a divide between people who strictly only want fast fashion and then want like devoted old-timey pieces. Jaiden, for you and your brand, because you're an entrepreneur, do you feel a threat at all when it comes to fast fashion versus the items that you're pushing out?
I know my items are made, well, my brand is relatively new also, but I feel like my items are made from a different area like than they are. So I feel like mine are like more creative, mine are more like homegrown, like there's more idea and more like, there's more like blood, sweat, and tears behind it. So I feel like that adds to the story more than fast fashion, as in like a comparison thing between fast fashion and then my brand.
It's kind of like the idea behind it is what matters rather than the material.
Yeah.
Okay, I see you. Kathryn, how about you? I assume that being a fashion major, you eventually want to start producing your own clothing as well? I mean, you already are, but do you feel any kind of threat with fast fashion?
Well, about 2 years ago, I actually did start my own brand called Meraki by Kathryn. And so I did kind of want to like steer away from like those fast fashion trends to create like a collection that's more timeless, especially centered around like younger girls, younger women, to bring more confidence into themselves. And to kind of like promote more sustainability, that you could get a garment, a good quality garment that's going to last you for a number of years, versus some like fast fashion piece that's only going to last a few wears.
Yeah, and you're also a student assistant for the fashion at CSUN, or sustainable fashion, right?
Yeah, I'm the student assistant for the sustainable fashion program for about 2 years.
So what does that role entail for you?
Like exactly like my job requirements.
What exactly the position is?
So the position is mainly to help with like our social media page, our website, like organizing events and activities, workshops. We recruit ambassadors every year for the program to teach them about sustainability in fashion, as well as like the importance of it, as well as ethical business practices.
Could you share a little bit more about that importance of sustainable fashion?
Yeah, so we really want to emphasize like less consumption and to promote more sustainable practices such as like thrifting, upcycling, especially like using what you already have to create something brand new. Like you can create something that nobody else has by upcycling like whatever you own in your closet. And we just really want to communicate with students why this lifestyle is so important, especially in the future of fashion, so that like as we are being more educated on sustainability, we can steer away from those fast fashion corporations.
Incredible. I did want to ask about the fashion show that you're contributing in. I believe that the theme of it is what again?
The theme is the future of fashion, so it's a very broad topic, but all the students are creating like a collection centered around their own aesthetic and niche.
And what about you, Jaiden? What do you assume that your future is with your company?
I would hope to be on the same like level as Nike, and I really look up to Nike and their creative ideas with their marketing, with their commercials, who they have like on their team and stuff like that. So I definitely look up to them, look up to the greats.
That's incredible. You both have very big dreams, and I love that. It's very passionate. I did want to talk a little bit about the quality of fabric when it comes to fast fashion. How have you seen it change over the years, rather from a couple decades ago to now? The actual quality and the material, is it?
I would say that like newer pieces, like they're more see-through, like it doesn't have the proper support that it should. So I would find clothing with like no interfacing, no lining, no facing, so no support to help give like that additional structure, which makes it like feel very cheap. And ultimately, like over time, that garment is going to like stretch out, especially as you wash it, and then all the fibers are gonna start pulling apart, and it's like you're gonna have like little holes or like any type of garment problems.
Yeah, and it seems like nowadays it's more important what you can get fast and cheap rather than good quality and for the pricing. And what's your opinion on that? Paying a little bit more for fabric that's gonna last you rather than something small but it may not last you.
Yeah, I feel like you definitely should pay a little bit more. For my brand, for Retro Valley, I try to price things at a better price than other competitors. For example, like we're selling the best quality jackets for like $50 because we're trying to market to college kids who can't necessarily want to cough up $100 for Nike or other brands, but we're still putting out really good quality garments. And I feel like that's definitely a big thing. And it's necessarily a look on you. Like, it reflects back on you what you're putting out.
Yeah, I think we had a great conversation about fast fashion. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to take a look at how students get ready for the biggest on-campus fashion event of the year at CSUN. Don't go anywhere. You're watching On Point.
I'm an actor in an ad reminding you that if you're high, just don't drive.
Welcome back to On Point. Before we went to break, we talked about the current state of the fashion industry and what the future of fashion could look like. The CSUN Fashion Show is a great way for students to get hands-on experience and a preview of what's to come for the future designers after graduation. Our own Cecilia Lozano spent an entire day with the fashion show production class to see how the next generation of designers are taking the future of fashion into their own hands.
The clock is ticking for these fashion and merchandising students as they prepare for their big test.
Looks like we're set.
It's their passion for fashion that gets them to class bright and early at 8:30 every Monday morning. These future designers have one goal in mind: to design and sew their creations to life so that they can be modeled at CSUN's 46th annual fashion show.
What our students making it is for the real people. We are embracing whole everybody's body.
This year's theme is Fashion Forward, the future of fashion, where students take looks from the past and present and reinvent them for a future world. A world where innovation and creativity collide. But it doesn't stop there. Sustainability is a huge concern in the fashion community as designers look for cleaner ways of making clothes.
I know we've been using different plants and peels to create faux leather and stuff like that, so it'd be great to find new material that's going to help elevate and emulate different kinds of fabrics.
It's a challenge that many designers and fashion houses have been dealing with since the beginning of the decade. However, the challenge that these designers face is the lack of time.
Though it's only March, the fashion show is less than a month away. Which means that students who want to showcase more pieces have to work even harder so they can make it into the runway here at the Student Union Center.
I'm super excited for the fashion show. I have about 3 pieces done right now, shooting for 6. We only have a month left, so it's gonna get work until I hopefully get them.
Last semester we were able to started making some of our garments, and we could use them this semester. So I'm just like recutting them.
Dr. Kim's fashion production class is a clear reflection of what these designers will face when they graduate.
Very challenging thing for these designers. It's not they're having a model and they're measure them and making it. They make the dress and find the model. It's very hard. There's no other in the world places like that. But they are making things happen.
Most of these students will stay into the night trying to get their dresses and other pieces finished. CSUN's fashion show is on Thursday, May 8th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the University Student Union. Reporting from Cal State Northridge, I'm Cecilia Lozano, On Point.
All right, so Kathryn, that is the club that you belong to, right?
Right.
So how is the process going along for you?
I would say that it's kind of like a difficult process, but it is very enjoyable. So we start out by having like a design concept, and then we go into like draping, pattern making, and then create like a mock-up, and then like the finished product with the fashion fabric. So it takes us about like 3 weeks, I would say, but we kind of have a limited amount of time since the fashion show is like a month away.
And I know that you said that the theme of it is future of fashion. What does that entail? Is this what students believe that the future fashion is going to look like? Is it sustainable materials? What is it about?
Yeah, so it's like a very broad topic, but since we are like the next generation of fashion, it kind of like entails like what our vision is for the future of fashion. So it kind of just incorporates like everyone's own aesthetic and what they see in the future of fashion.
And I believe that you're also participating in it, having your own pieces?
Right, I am.
Is there any theme that you're doing for it?
I'm doing a very like Chanel incorporated type of theme, like very glamorous. My collection theme name is called Champagne Glamour. So I've been like very heavily inspired by like fashion icons such as Audrey Hepburn, Coco Chanel, like some movies like Breakfast at Tiffany's, the hit show Gossip Girl. So that's kind of like centered around like my collection. But my main element are pearls, so every design is going to have pearls incorporated in them.
That's incredible. And you are the president of this club, right?
I am, yeah.
How did you come into that position of leadership?
Well, I've been in the club as an officer since my sophomore year, and I really grew closer into the club by just getting more involved, like offering more ways to help. And as I kind of like grew along, I would say that I got like different positions, and then I learned more about what it is to be a leader, as well as like collaboration skills, learning to make quick decisions and guide a bunch of people. So I would say that it was like kind of a journey, but I wholeheartedly enjoy it.
Oh, that's amazing. So I assume that the club is co-op, so it's women and men both participating in it, correct?
Correct,
okay.
Yeah.
So how do you feel like that balance between genders, male, female, non-binary, how do you feel like it's been incorporated in their work?
I would say we love to have inclusion within our club. I think that's something that we've always like promoted. And we love to welcome all CSUN students regardless of like their major, their background, because fashion is so universal and everyone, you know, has their own sense of fashion. They pick what they wear every single day. So we get a lot of different people coming into our club, even from like different cultures, and it's so nice to like see how people's ethnic backgrounds kind of influence the way that they view fashion.
Incredible. So Jaiden, for you, more on that topic, how do you feel like men's fashion has evolved over the last years, and how do you reflect that in your work?
I feel like it's evolved a good amount from going from like the Jay-Z kind of Pharrell kind of era. It's all coming back. It's all like circular in a sense, and it's all it's all being like recycled into this generation.
Yeah, and to go off of that point, I feel like while we still have like fast fashion in full swing, I feel like something that's really uprising is thrifting, upcycling, using pre-owned pieces and kind of tailoring them to your own and kind of giving those pieces a new life. What are your guys' impressions on thrifting and upcycling?
95% of my closet is thrifted or from Depop. I really love thrifting. I love finding pieces. One thing I think of is everything you want in the world is already made, and that's one thing that I kind of like. So I don't really like buying fast fashion, but I love thrifting. I love finding pieces, finding stuff that nobody really has at the thrift.
Yeah, and if I'm correct, you are ambassador for Depop.
I am.
So what does that entail?
So me and my other ambassador, Helen, we are Depop ambassadors for CSUN. There are 150 to 170 ambassadors in the U.S. at over like 70 universities, so there's like 2 per university. And so we throw 8 events per year, or per semester, my bad. And we throw thrift markets, seminars with the fashion club. We throw, swap shops and tabling events. So that's been going really well. We're almost at our 8 events. And one thing cool, I also run their TikTok. So that's pretty cool.
And being an ambassador for Depop, how do you feel like that message of using pre-owned clothes to kind of take up your wardrobe, how do you feel like that message should be portrayed to people?
I feel like we promote it a lot to CSUN's campus, and I feel like a lot of people do think like that. It's just getting the word out more and more. Like more people can thrift, more people can find stuff on Depop, and yeah.
Yeah. Talking about thrifting for both of you, hot words that are very present in the community is things like Y2K, upcycled, thrifted. Why do you feel like those are such hot words for people to search when they're looking for upcycled clothes?
Well, I feel like social media has a very big influence on the trends that we see today. We see like a lot of like social media personalities and influencers kind of starting them off based on what other fashion companies are producing, because like the higher market are the ones kind of like producing the trends, and then like smaller markets like replicate them. So it all starts out with like higher fashion companies.
What about you, Jaiden?
I definitely agree with the celebrity influence. Definitely a lot of my friends and a lot of people that I look to definitely are celebrities, and they like wear pieces, and I'll be like, okay, that's really cool. Like, let me go find something at the thrift that's like that, or find something from that time era that I could like try and style myself. But definitely celebrity influence.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about what you said about going to thrift stores. Why do you feel like thrifting is such a hobby nowadays? I feel like that's how people occupy their afternoons or go on dates with people, and they're like, oh, let's go thrift. Why do you guys feel like it's such a fun activity for people?
I feel like thrifting is a hobby because I can connect with my friends and I can see what they like, and I can see I could kind of tell how a person is by how they thrift. Like, see their fashion, see what they like, see what they're into, and you can kind of read a person by how they thrift. That's what I kind of think.
And what is your opinion on, coming from Depop, this phenomenon of people getting pre-loved clothes and then making it a business for themselves? Like, this is their side hustle, it's their main hustle, where they're searching for these items and they're selling it for profit.
Yeah, I definitely agree with college kids doing it. I agree with anybody doing it. I've been selling online since I was like 14, and my mom taught me at a young age, like, I gotta hustle, I gotta make some money, you know? So I feel like it's definitely a really good side hustle. I think making a couple of dollars off something that you don't wear, instead of throwing it away, providing more waste, instead of just like not wearing it and just keeping it and letting it get dusty, you know, like you could give that to somebody, you could make a little bit of cash off of it.
Kathryn, do you own anything thrifted?
I do, yeah, I do have some like thrifted pieces. I'm not big on thrifting myself, but I think that it's a great way to kind of like recycle clothing that's already been made, especially so you don't have to pay like full price for something, and it's like less harmful for the environment. I do have like some pieces I got like from the Rose Bowl flea market. So I do like to practice like more sustainable practices, but sometimes like it's not exactly like, I don't really know like what the proper way to thrift is, but I feel like if I went thrifting with Jaiden, I would like have more an idea of like how to do it.
Yeah, for sure you guys need to go together.
Oh yeah.
Something that you mentioned and we also covered in the package is the idea of reusing fabrics that you may not use 100% of it. I believe in the Fashion Trends Club, they're talking about reusing fabrics from the previous semester. What is your opinion on reusing fabrics until they can't be used anymore?
I think it's honestly such a great idea to just keep on reusing the fabrics, especially like if they're still like in great quality, in great shape. Like it's like, why not use them again? Like we have a student in the fashion show class who actually got a pair of jeans from the thrift store, and she used that part of like her look to create like a denim skirt and a denim top, which I think that is like a much more sustainable way to make something. And then we've also had like some students just like reuse their old fabrics, which I think is like totally great.
Do you feel like any trends die out to where you can't use the fabrics anymore, or do you feel like there's always going to be a way to use them?
I feel like there's always going to be a way to use them because it's not really like much of the fabric itself. I think it's just like the style that kind of fades out, but fabrics, you can like repurpose them into something new, and like the same fabrics are continuously being made, so they're never really gonna fade out.
And for you, Jaiden, is there any thought that goes behind the fabrics that you choose for your clothing brand?
Yeah, so all of my samples that I make, I go to LA Apparel, and I go to the imperfect section of LA Apparel, so it's cheaper, and they're tees that are slightly, they can't be sold as like full price, but they're slightly like broken, or like they're not fully up to par. So I go there, I buy that, and then I get that printed locally, and that's where like sustainability comes in, and buying from that like imperfect section that normally those tees would be thrown away, but other people like buy them.
And how hands-on is it when you're getting a product and then you're pushing it out to people?
It's super hands-on. I feel like I hand deliver a lot of clothes. I feel like definitely marketing and selling your clothes is really personable, just so they could see the quality and you can see their reaction to how they like react to your brand.
Yeah, so it's not only sustainability or self-expression, it's also the bond that you can create between people. Yeah. I mean, even just right now, you guys are going to bond over thrifting eventually. When it comes to your inner circle, how do you pitch or recommend upcycled clothing or thrifted clothing to people that might not want to or not open to it?
I really just recommend, for example, shopping on Depop. I recommend like the money aspect, and I personally really don't like having a lot of clutter around the house and like having a lot of unused stuff around the house. So I feel like decluttering and getting rid of stuff is like better for me and better for like my area. So I feel like that.
I want to thank my guests, Kathryn and Jaiden, for taking the time out of their day to sit with us. From trends that shape our style to the future of sustainable fashion, it's clear that the industry is constantly evolving. Whether it's being unique in your own looks or transforming pre-loved pieces into a second life, fashion continues to be a powerful form of self-expression. Just remember, fashion is all about owning your style, so keep experimenting and stay inspired. Thank you for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you next time on Point.